Today we're going to do some Taco Bell Middle Eastern infusion. I got inspired by the form factor of Taco Bell, and I'm going to mix it with some of the flavorings and seasonings of a kind of Middle Eastern style meal. So let's cook. Okay, so very random set of circumstances, but this is what's so cool to me about cooking is you can be inspired from so many different places. So I have tomatoes that from my little raised beds that have started producing. So I was trying to figure out a way to use these. I have some dill as well. I have some ground beef left from the Smash Burger video on the main channel. And then we're gonna kind of take the form factor of Taco Bell with, I don't know, maybe like a beefy, cheesy taco, I don't know, whatever. But that's kind of what I was thinking of. Whatever form factor you want to think. But then we're gonna use the flavorings and seasonings from elsewhere in the world. So I've got some of this Jordanian za'atar mix, which is really good. We're gonna mix this with the beef. That's it. And then we're gonna make a quick little tomato salad with these cherry tomatoes. I'm just gonna grab out a couple. And then these are some whole wheat flour tortillas that I bought at the grocery store. I made normal tacos with them already, but it's just a whole wheat tortilla. Like this is basically, think of it as like thin flatbread if you want to. And then I had some hummus in the fridge, some feta cheese. Very simple meal, but I'm quite looking forward to this. Should be pretty good. All right, I'm gonna keep bumping this up. So very high heat on the stainless steel pan. Bring that up to temp, and then meanwhile I'll quickly kind of just slice up the tomatoes. Again, using the, I gotta sharpen this knife a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of cut these into eighths, all these tomatoes. Then after I cut these, I'll put the beef on to the griddle or onto the stainless steel. That side got a little mushy, might have been an insect in there. But this is, again, just another example of what I would call more of a, kind of an ingredient inspired, right? Like, I bought all of these ingredients and kind of ended up with them very independently of one another. And then now kind of need to figure out what to do with them, which is kind of my favorite way to cook. Okay, so we've got the beef. I forget what this is. This might be 85, I think this is 8515. So just gonna mash it into our stainless steel pan. Just like if we were making a really big smash burger. Sprinkle of salt on that, let that brown up. Also, with start of summer, I feel like there's more flies now. There's like one or two in the house that are just annoying me. Okay, so I'm gonna put the beef away. And then for this kind of little tomato salad, so this is kind of imitating, maybe a little pico de gallo or something. What I'm gonna do is just toss in some fresh dill. But really any herb could work here. If you've got parsley, that would be another good one. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of sumac to this. So this is pretty classic in a variety. So this will be give us a little tang. It's like a little berry. And then just a little baby squirt of some olive oil. And then if I don't have any red onion right now, some fresh red onion would be good in this too. But we're going to keep it really simple and just a little tomato salad. So we got that. I put away the za'atar without actually using it. Okay, and then for the beef, so I'm just going to sprinkle liberally right over top. So we browned up all that on the bottom. And then we just kind of scrape. And yeah, this is definitely a little bit leaner ground beef. I think it might have been 90-10 actually. I don't know. I end up with a lot of leftover ingredients, especially after deep dive videos where it's like, I just chuck it in the fridge and I'm like, all right, I got to figure out how to use it somehow. All right, and then to bring that, just because it is a little bit on the, the leaner side, what I'm gonna do is grab a little bit of some beef bouillon and a little bit of water and just kind of bump up the beefiness of our beef. That'll also be a little salt in there too. And then this is what we'll call our Taco Bell seasoned beef, except not remotely close in terms of the flavorings. The technique very similar though. Really steam it up. Okay. Okay, and then what I'm going to do back here, I should have flipped this on earlier. We'll toast up our flour tortillas. So while I'm waiting for that to heat up, I'll kind of just put everything away. So we got our beef. We don't need this. The hummus, the feta. Little feta block. Ooh. And actually, what I might do, I think I might just add the feta directly to our tomato salad. A little saltiness in there. Where's my towel? There we go. Clean up our knife. Get that done. So really, really simple meal. And I'm excited to see how this tastes once we put together. All right. Gonna give these just a baby drizzle of olive oil on the flour tortilla, just so we can, or sorry, the whole wheat tortilla, so we can kind of toast these up just a little bit. And again, try to get more into the vibe of more like Middle Eastern flavors, whereas if you were toasting these up for, like Mexican style tacos, you'd probably go with a neutral oil, but we're gonna go with an olive oil, which is obviously much more common in kind of Middle Eastern cuisines. And it is really cool, just once you start to understand concepts, you realize there's thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of recipes, but really they have so much more in common than you think. If we strip away the kind of spices and flavorings and seasonings, it's okay, our core components here are ground beef. Ground beef can be seasoned in hundreds of different ways. We've chosen one here. We have tomatoes. A lot of times in Mexican cuisine, this would be turned into a pico de gallo. You'd use onions, lime juice, cilantro, and some onion or whatever. In this case, we're kind of just going a little different route. So we've got the tomatoes. We're gonna do some dill instead of, like a cilantro, and then we've got the sumac in there, which will give it a little bit of tang instead of like a lime juice would. And then just a little bit of salty kick from our feta cheese. And then could have totally added some red onions or something to that as well. And then our hummus in this case, I guess, would be almost like the sour cream in a way, where it's like it's giving you that creamy component, but obviously just dairy and sour cream is a little bit more tangy. This is going to have, this happens to be like a jalapeno lime one, but it's going to give us that creamy cold component, which kind of simulates how sour cream would work. So when you strip back and think about it more from like a fundamental perspective, when you look at a lot of recipes, you realize everything is so much more similar than you would originally think. Try to get a nice little toast on these guys. And then I'm going to slide this out of the way. Inductions burn are nice for, just being able to cook up here, so I don't need to like flip cameras around so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing, but totally not necessary. All right, those are getting close. That's good. This is going to be good. All right, so I think we'll cut here for just like the minute. I want to get a nice little kind of sear and crust on these, and then I'll meet you back here when we assemble. Oh yeah. All right, that's kind of what I'm looking for there. Okay. So press those down a little bit. Nice little brown. And then I kind of left the inside like this. So what I'm going to do to assemble these, big spoonful of hummus. Maybe not that big. Maybe a little bit less. We're going to go edge to edge on it. Beautiful. Oh, that side honestly looks a little bit better, but it's fine. All right. Edge to edge. Oh, I can turn this heat off. Then we're going to go big scoop of our beef. And then last but not least, a little tomato salad up on top. Oh man, this looks so good. Dude, I feel like this would make a really good like fast casual like restaurant or something. Man, this looks good. Where did I put my towel? Oh, I used it underneath. That's probably cool enough now. Okay. All right, and then hopefully I didn't over crisp these. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, I gotta grab a photo before I dive into these. 1 second. All right, let's dive in. This is so good. Like, you get the seasoned za'atar beef, the juiciness from that tomato salad, the dill comes through, and then like kind of wrapped around that little creamy hummus, and then just like a slightly toasted tortilla. Oh, yeah. So like go make this super fresh. You could also just throw this over rice, turn it into a salad, something like that. But really just 3 core components is, you know, season that beef, tomato salad. You could mix in your herbs, try different things out, grab some hummus, and then yeah, whatever form factor you want to put it into, it's going to turn out just fine. This is, man, I'm probably going to eat this for the next few days. So now wrap it up for me in this one. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace, y'all.